Welcome back to our podcast, We Are All Fine. I'm Heidi Lester. I'm a counsellor and psychotherapist, and you are all very, very welcome. This is season 2, episode 46, and I also want to share something obvious today that I've now started to record all of these podcasts and these episodes myself, which feels both exciting and a little vulnerable. But I really wanted this season to feel more personal, more connected, with more of a conversational tone between me and you. Before we get started then, I just want to say this, a huge, big thank you. Thank you for listening, for sharing the podcast, for all of your messages and emails, and for the feedback that I've received every single week. It does really mean a lot to me. It genuinely matters, and it really helps shape our conversations and the topics I bring over to the podcasts. So if anything in today's episodes resonates with you, I'd love to hear from you. You can always email me at HeidiWeAreAllFine@gmail.com, and you can also find me on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, where I always share daily videos around mental health, how to manage it, emotional well-being, with my therapy-informed insight. My aim with my podcasts and for my videos is for you to feel seen and heard. So thank you for joining me. And if you feel able, leave me a review. I'd like some more of those. Guide me and share the episodes, or send in feedback really helps this podcast, and it'll help reach people like you who might need to see it and read it and be part of it. Now, let's get into today's topic. So make yourself feel comfortable, get yourself a brew, and let's go. Self-care is everywhere online. Bath soaks, journaling, yoga, meditation, walks, skincare routines. And yet so many people tell me that they might be doing all of these things, but still feeling exhausted. And you might start to feel frustrated with yourself if that's you, like you're failing at something that's supposed to help us. So I want to say this clearly to you now. If self-care hasn't been working for you, it's not because you're doing anything wrong. Usually what's missing isn't the effort. You'll already be putting that in. It's attunement. And this is something I see constantly in my counselling work. I want to share something personal here. For a long, long time, even as a psychotherapist, and everybody thinks we know it all, we really don't, I've approached self-care like a task, something to fit in and something that I should be doing. And I'd noticed that even when I was resting, part of me was still not quite feeling fulfilled. I was still thinking, still holding that tension, still not fully relaxed, still not really benefiting from all of the effort I was putting in to what I was doing to look after myself. So what I came to understand over time, both personally and professionally, is that my body just didn't need any more routines. It needed to feel heard and listened to and honoured. And that shift changed everything for me, because healing has not come from doing the right things or for you doing the right things. It's come from how present we are within ourselves while we do them. From a neuroscience perspective, this is going to make complete sense. When you're stressed, anxious, or overwhelmed, your nervous system is always going to be in survival mode. So the brain will be scanning for threat. So when someone says, oh, just relax, or go journal, or take a bath, or do some deep breathing, your body's not going to feel safe enough just to settle in those few moments, even if you're actually doing something quite calming with your physical body. That's why you can sit in a bath, still feel a bit, or journaling is just going to drain you. It's going to feel like a bit of a chore. Or why rest doesn't always feel restful. You might sleep for 8 or 9 hours a night, get up in the morning and still not feel rested or reset, because your nervous system hasn't learned to receive the signal that it's safe. And that's the crucial part here. Routines alone, they're not going to send that signal to you. Your awareness will. In counselling, one of the very first things we help people realise and relearn is to how to check in with their body, because stress disconnects us from that feeling. So instead of asking yourself, what self-care should I be doing, a more helpful question always is going to be this: what am I noticing right now? What is my body? What are these sensations sending to me? What are they trying to get? They're trying to get your attention. So there's tight shoulders, heavy chest, knot in your stomach, all of those things, emotional numbness even. None of that is wrong. It's information. See it as that. It's your body sending you signals. And when you notice it without judgment, I promise you something will shift. Now, this is where emotionally responsive self-care will come in. Actively based self-care focuses on doing. Emotionally responsive self-care, different, focuses on listening and attunement. It's going to sound something like this. You're going to recognize you're going to feel overstimulated And what you'll need for that is probably stillness and quiet. I know I do. Or if you feel flat, you don't need busyness. You don't need somebody telling you what to do. You don't need more things forced onto your plate. You need gentleness. And if you feel anxious, which most of us do some part of the day, some part of the week, you're going to need reassurance, not productivity. Just hope that makes a little bit of sense. So in counselling, we call this emotional labeling and validation. It's really quite powerful. Naming what you feel helps regulate your nervous system, and it brings the thinking brain, it shifts it back online, if you like, and reduces emotional intensity. Gets rid of some of those tabs that you've got open and whirring around. We're going to bring you back into the present moment. It's not about indulging your emotions. It's about working with them. And there is a difference. Another piece I want to talk about, because it does matter, is how you speak to yourself during self-care, during those emotional responsive self-care moments. If your inner voice is saying you're not enough, you should be doing more, your body won't experience any kind of emotional care or stability. It'll experience pressure instead. Now, self-care done under pressure, that becomes another demand, another chore, and your nervous system will be pushing back. And I've got too much on. I don't need to be doing that as well. So one of the most therapeutic shifts that you can make is softening that internal voice. Let's turn it from an inner critic to an inner champion. Not forcing positivity, none of that, just being more real and being more kind to yourself. You're allowed to slow down. You're allowed to take a step back, and you don't need to earn your rest. Those messages, they're going to reshape your brain over time. So stay with them, practice them. We're trying to build safety here. And then there are boundaries. In counselling, boundaries are not optional. They're foundational, necessary, mandatory. Absolutely super important. You cannot restore yourself while constantly overriding any of your limits. Sometimes self-care actually looks like turning up and saying no, leaving early, not replying straight away to a text message, protecting your energy without having to explain yourself. Now, that's going to feel uncomfortable to the people pleasers listening to this. It really is. I get it, especially if you're used to being readily available and you're used to saying yes. But every no you say to somebody else, those tiny little words there, no, is a massive, great big yes to you. All of your boundaries that you put in place feed a message to your nervous system, which I think is essential. I am allowed to protect myself. That is so deeply regulating and will soothe all of your mental health issues that might strike up, bite you and spit at you. It's often because our boundaries are wavy and floppy. So we need to start thinking about installing regular emotional boundaries. And you can do that just by realigning your values, i.e. what matters to you, to what you need. One simple practice I often encourage is a lovely little thing. It's dead easy. It's a daily check-in. Nothing elaborate, just a little pause. Asking yourself, again, we're tuning in, that attunement, that valuing and validating my body. What am I feeling right now and what do I need? We don't do this often enough. We're always asking, what do you need? How are you feeling? Fine, in this an acronym in this podcast, for flawed, insecure, nervous and emotional. We can't stop any of those things. That is being human. That is flying through a 21st century life with a prehistoric brain. So we need to take accountability, and one of the best things you can do is start tuning in, asking yourself what you need. And then when you have the answers, because if you listen carefully, you'll get them, respond kindly. Even if that answer isn't quite unclear, just get yourself compassion and be nice and kind to yourself. And over time, these moments, what they do is they build up trust. And trust is what makes that self-care work so effectively for us. That emotional responsive self-care will add on to the activities we're doing to manage those routines as well. I want to leave you with this. Self-care isn't about fixing yourself. It's not about becoming better, calmer, or more reproductive or more effective human being, or better than everything you see out there on social media. It's not that. It's not a race. Remove any kind of competition from this. It's about learning to stay connected to you, to yourself, especially when things feel hard, tricky, or challenging. So when self-care does include awareness, validation, boundaries, gentleness, it stops being a routine and becomes a really gentle relationship with you, your body, your spirit, your mind, connecting all of those parts together. And that is where any kind of healing always has to begin. Thank you for joining me for season 2, which is now videoed. It's lovely to see you all. And we're going to build on this next week in episode 47. And I've called this Trauma Response versus Overreaction, Understanding Your Alarm System. We're going to explore why your reactions make sense and how to respond to them with care instead of shame. So very much building on looking at what our nervous system is, how it reacts, because we often get confused between, is this from trauma? Am I triggered, or am I just overreacting? I am going to help you work out what's what next week. If this episode resonated with you this week, please reach out, share your comments, share your feedback, share the podcast. And if you can, leave me a review or reach out to me, HeidiWeAreAllFine@gmail.com. And again, you can pop over onto social media and say hello to me over there. Have a gorgeous, gorgeous week. Take care of you, your nervous system. I hope what we've shared today has helped you understand you and your self-care routine a little bit more. Be gentle. Have a great week, and always remember, be yourself. You are no one else. We are all flawed, insecure, nervous, and emotional, but always remember, you matter, and I'll see you next week. Finally, some important takeaways. The podcast is for informational use only and should not be used as a substitution for professional advice or personal diagnosis. These opinions are personal, and I do not guarantee the accuracy of such opinions or information. I'm not intending to create a counselling relationship with you, and you should always consult a qualified mental health professional with any concerns.